Yes, approach runway 26 left. Far vector to the paddock board and induce landing runways. Runway 26 left for large aircraft. And runway 26 right for light aircraft.
Captain Alpha.
Captain X-Ray.
How's it going, my boy?
Episode 101, bro.
Here we are
Yeah, here we are.
with a sort of change in plans.
Should we get into it? Some housekeeping.
Let's do it.
Okay, so obviously this week everyone in South Africa knows load shedding back in the picture.
Yeah.
And we've been looking at a way of growing the show, doing something slightly new, and throwing a wider net.
Yeah.
One of the things we did really well at the beginning was the quality of our video. Our video quality was top. And I kind of want to get that back,
Yes.
but we can't get that back through live. Live also restricts us in certain ways where there are external factors affecting when we do the show, how we do the show, and if we do the show, which
Yeah.
is not good enough.
No.
We need to push out a show every week. And this is the plan. So what's going to happen is the Bryan Air Aviation and Travel News will come out once a week, and you'll get that show on a Friday morning. The
Definitely.
podcast will come out on a Friday morning as well. And there are going to be a few additions to what we push out on the podcast, which we both quite excited about. In other words, we've done the show as a sort of weekly roundup of the news, but we're quite keen on pushing out something that is, I know you've got some ideas that you want to do yourself. I want to do myself, and we need to have the platform that allows us to expand the show. So this is sort of the first step in the post 100 episode plan, and we're giving it a bit of a try. We've been, I wouldn't say forced into it, because we've been thinking about this for a while, but it's something that we're both quite keen to do. Expanding the show, taking it, throwing a wider net, and doing a bit more with it. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited about it. This is sort of episode 1 in the next series, if that makes any sense. And yeah.
That's it, pal. Exactly what you were saying, just expand on it. I mean, pre our 100 show, we asked each other the question, like, what's going to happen after episode 100? Are we going to keep things the same? Are we going to change things up? And I think we both knew that it was absolutely necessary to change things up. Otherwise, what's the point? We've got to continue to expand,
we've got to grow,
and we got to push ourselves to the next sort of level. If not for anything else, it's just to go and see where our own limits lie, and that's kind of been the exciting thing. Last week we took a break because it was a public holiday, but it's given us the time to sort of formulate what we want to do. So we've spent a good couple of hours around the table talking about this, talking about that, trying to decide, what's best for us, what suits the show, what format works, and I think we've settled on a pretty good plan. And there's nothing else left to do other than to go and battle test it. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Things will be slightly different for our viewers, but let's just crack it.
I'm very confident in the plan. Ryan, one of the big things, we've got the podcast that we push out on YouTube as a video.
Yes.
We've got the audio version. The audio has always been the bread and butter of the show. It is a podcast. It will always be a podcast.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of respect the fact that it's a podcast. Having it this way allows us to expand on the podcast. We got painted in a corner because we were doing the live show weekly. There was the weekly show. That was it. But we've got other ideas. We've got other plans. And you're going to find a lot more podcasts from the Bryan Air podcast.
Exactly.
And it's not just going to be us talking about aviation and travel. It's going to be Ryan talking about things he's interested in, myself talking about things that I'm interested in, and bringing that all on the platform as separate shows. So we're quite excited about it. It's phase 1 in a new sort of trajectory.
Yeah.
So yeah, Very keen.
It's very exciting, man. And yeah, as we start to sort of treat this more as I sort of say as a business more
Yep.
than just a hobby, it gets a hell of a lot more exciting. So yeah, 100% pal. Very excited about for things to come.
Where it's going.
And yeah, let's see what happens, man.
Should we get into it?
Local news.
Local news. Let's start off with the story of the week, though. We won't talk about that just yet, but it's definitely something we're gonna chat about a bit later on. A few interesting comments by Lyft this last week, particularly their top dogs there having a few interesting things to say. But let's get to that a bit later on. I'll start off today with obviously Ryan. We had our 99th show. Then there was a build-up to that number 100. And in that week, Comair called it quits.
Yeah.
And in our 100th show, we never really spoke about it because 100 was about us and we spoke about us. But Comair has obviously left a massive void in the aviation industry here in South Africa, both from a pilot job point of view, but also from a bums and seats point of view.
Yeah.
They had a massive market share in the domestic market, more so than what you might have actually realized.
I'd almost go so far as to say that the demise of Comair is being felt a lot harder across the airline industry than the demise of SAA and the demise of Comair collectively. Comair was a massive airline, legacy, been operating for many, many years, and seeing this happen to them has actually been hard. It's been really, really hard.
Been tough to watch,
particularly because it's not something that you can blame on a failed government or that kind of thing. So yeah, very difficult, and our hearts go out to the guys and girls, pilots, cabin crew, ground staff, everyone that are feeling it at this stage. But fortunately for them, it comes at a time where the industry worldwide is still offering opportunities. And I think, we'll get into it, but the likes of Safair and the other airlines are, using the opportunity to offer those guys first dibs on jobs that are available.
Yeah.
So it's very, very cool to see that side of it.
All right, well, let's start with FlySafair. So Safair is going to add, they're adding more routes. So 10 more routes on the sub-Saharan Africa side to take advantage of that gap left by Comair. So Nairobi, Lusaka, Maputo, and Vic Falls, Zanzibar as well. Zanzibar very much in the news this week.
Yes.
Global were operating that route on behalf of Comair. Comair have pulled out. Global not going to operate that route under a name brand. They were doing it for Comair. They've pulled out. Safair, I believe, are jumping on that route now.
Yes.
A nighttime turnover flight, so fly there in the evening, turn around, flight back. So at least that route is being looked after because it's a lucrative route. I think Mango survived on that route for quite a while.
I think so too. That was their bread and butter, much like Lubumbashi was for SA Express.
Yep.
Every airline I think has got their niche route, and I think this is one that the airlines locally are going to try and grab onto, hold on to it, because it's Zanzibar is a popular destination, man. Yeah, particularly this time of the year.
Yeah. They add, staying with Safair, they're going to add 5 new planes. I know they took over a Comair aircraft this past week. They've got some Ryanair aircraft coming in. There's a few more aircraft coming their way. Are they going to be 800s?
Well, yes.
Are they?
Yeah.
I mean, are all the routes built for that 800?
I don't know.
Wouldn't it be cool if they, threw an ATR in there or something? Maybe there's some of those routes that are more geared for a slightly smaller turboprop or something like that.
I'm sure there are. I mean, there's rumors of Gaborone.
Yeah.
So Joburg, Gaborone.
Gaborone 800 doesn't work.
Not by a long shot.
No, we know it doesn't work.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe they're eyeing expansion in that route. Well, at the very least, if Safair don't capitalize on that, at least there's room for Semi.
Yeah.
Or Airlink, which are already, I'm sure, jumping on that. So either which way, the slack will be taken up.
Keep an eye
100%.
on it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. They took delivery this week of Zulu Sierra Zulu Whiskey Victor. So there was a 738 which left the Comair fleet, which been in the Comair fleet since 2017. A lot of the Comair guys obviously moved their way over to Safair as well. They've got to they've got to start operating those aircraft straight away. So it was an easy way to make that happen.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Remember when Nationwide went tits up?
Yes. Comair was actually the backstop that took a lot of the Nationwide guys on. And if I'm not mistaken, and I stand to be corrected, but it was the same with when one time went tits up as well. Comair and Saks and Airlink to a degree took a lot of those guys in as well. So it was, the industry supporting itself. So we're seeing a lot of that. Unfortunately, there are still a lot of guys out there that, obviously taking more of a backseat now because there were potentially other crew that were lined up. But now that there's more type-rated guys available in the industry, it makes things complicated for a lot of other crew. But nevertheless, it's cool to see that there are still jobs available for those guys.
That's something that is evidently important for us. Something we've spoken about a lot. But them and thank goodness for the Fly Dubais of the world that are taking South African crew on.
Yeah,
the Mango and the Comair and fast-tracked into positions, which says a lot.
Exactly.
So long may that continue. The one thing that is that I've picked up, particularly here at the Sim Center, the mutterings between the corridors, a lot of those opportunities they're not necessarily today. It's like you got a start date end of August type of deal. And I think a lot of the Comair guys, they never had the whole, through the shutdown, the lockdown, they were still employed. So there's almost this sort of mad rush to go and take a job. And then, you got this filler gap between now and when you start at your... Is that necessary? I mean, so many people took a 6-month, 8-month period without sort of any real work. Don't panic, I would say.
Yeah, no, don't
make
panic.
A proper move because you can snooker yourself into a corner that maybe you're not.
Yeah, particularly with the fact that look, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into this now, but I mean, a lot of airlines are obviously very nervous about employing new crew, knowing that at the moment there's a lot of movement. So guys are getting forced into training bonds.
Yeah.
That are, quite hefty, and you might, without really thinking it through properly, end up signing yourself into a training bond
that you can't get out of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you might regret that in a week or two's time when you ultimately get the call from the airline that you were really hoping for. So I think it's kind of like one of those instances where, we speak about it a lot to our students, where when you're dealing with an emergency, just remember, guys, sit on your hands for a little bit. Take a few seconds, take a deep breath.
Do a bit of a risk management assessment here,
Really think about what's going on.
Fly Dubai is pretty much a career airline, eh?
Yes.
I think it's a stepping stone airline. You're not going to Fly Dubai to wait to get into Emirates or something. You go there and you'll spend a significant amount of time there, no doubt. Not an airline I've considered myself, so I haven't looked into it in detail, but that's the impression that I get. And any airline that is coming in now that is willing to not only accept South Africans, but fast-track South African pilots into their system, I'm pretty pro, eh?
Yeah, no,
so
it's worthwhile looking
Fly
at.
Dubai is very much
It's up there, I think.
It's up there at the moment.
Again, it's one of those airlines that I think we spoke about it a few shows ago as well. It ticks most of the boxes in terms of, what are most airline pilots looking after? They're looking after their careers, but it's family time, lifestyle, what's good for the kids, all of that as well. So, it's certainly up there, definitely.
Yeah. So, good on them. Carry on. Okay, let's move on. Lyft has been in the news this week. That's our story of the week, Ryan.
Yes.
Going to save it for a little bit later on, but there's expansion plans there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
The expansion of local airlines here in South Africa. And maybe not just ticking over anymore. Maybe they see it now as an opportunity to start dominating. So Lyft, very much our main story for the day. We'll chat about that a bit later on.
Definitely.
ATNS in the news. So Airlink, they've postponed their St. Helena service. So Joburg's HF radios, they are in op. Surprise there? No. They've been in op for 3 months. ATNS is in the news a lot, and it's not positive.
Guys have been heavily unimpressed with ATNS, especially the NOTAMs going around. I mean, they're shutting down most of their services at night in South Africa, well, for the last, 3, 4, 5, 6 months now.
Yeah.
Cape Town, you're seeing it a lot where they're closing down, clearance delivery and ground frequencies and combining, 3 or 4 frequencies at once, which places a hell of a load on a controller, which ultimately has duty times and the kind of stuff. It's not good. It really isn't good. And the thing is, they're doing all this and they're not offering any discount on their fees to the operators either.
No.
So you're paying premium rates for a third of the service. And for what, they're losing a lot of good stuff, and I feel bad. Like, I've got a lot of friends that work for ATNS, highly intelligent, well qualified guys, just not getting treated right.
Is it? I don't think it's gonna change.
Ain't gonna change. Yeah.
Passports are being renewed.
Yep, the guys are on their way out,
go.
And it's unfortunately a very sad state of affairs to see highly qualified guys and girls leaving the shores of South Africa for something better, all because of incompetence.
It's inevitable. Talk about non-incompetence, and rather something on the positive side in South Africa. Cape Town Airport, they keep winning awards. So they've won another award, the best airport in Africa. No surprise. It is the best airport in Africa because it's in the best destination in Africa.
No, of course. I mean, I wasn't really surprised.
Seventh year in a row, right?
Yeah, of course. They
Skytrax,
as opposed to Tambo,
yeah,
which is in the news for other reasons.
Yeah, it is. But Joburg's such a shithole anyway. I mean,
exactly.
East Cape Town, it's a world class place, world class airport, and they deserve it.
No, it's brilliant. What an accolade to be awarded with, as opposed to Joburg's Tambo, which allows international travellers the potential opportunity to enter the country through fire escape servitudes, therefore bypassing customs and immigration.
Oh, really?
Therefore allowing you into the country where you can open up a cell phone repair shop or a barber shop or whatever the case may be.
Never ends.
Yeah. But anyway, that's been nabbed, and hopefully it will not be allowed to happen. At risk, though, of our government then reintroducing transit visas because of such events. Yeah. Which I think is going to be detrimental to our tourism sector.
It will be detrimental to our tourism sector.
Yeah. So hopefully they stop that in its tracks, because, I mean, we're at the cusp now of the industry recovering. People are rushing back to South Africa or Southern Africa, obviously therefore transiting through Joburg onto the likes of Airlink, Safair, onto other destinations in Africa, and it works. Now you want to introduce transit visas. It's going to mean another bureaucratic hole that people have to, or hoop rather, that people have to jump through. It's going to be a deterrent.
Never mind the delays in all these visas. I mean, it's part of another story later on. Delays.
Yeah, we don't need that. So hopefully government realize that that's a shit idea and, leave that one aside. We'll see.
Hopefully they take our advice.
Yeah.
Let's stick with Cape Town for a minute. United, they've announced they want to make this flight a year-round thing. So instead of just being like a summer vacation thing, that's going to be a year-round thing. So, yeah, Cape Town, I mean, can't get away from it.
You have to.
Who wants to come to Joburg?
Exactly.
The game farms are still so expensive, Ryan. There's all these adverts out about South African rates for these game farms and things like that. I mean, even overseas people.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money you earn. Overseas people coming out with the dollar, the euro, those game farms are still expensive.
They're expensive.
Even on the South African rate, they're expensive.
You'll be surprised though.
How many people go?
They go and
But right.
added to that, people come in from Cape Town. They do the whole Cape Town, Table Mountain, wine farms thing, and they still make the effort to travel from Cape Town to the game farms.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you got to tick a whole bunch of boxes while you're down
But
the side of the world.
But
so.
it's a next level traveler.
Yeah.
Is it not a traveler that's going charter and things like that?
It's
a
pretty
next
much.
level traveler.
Yeah.
The standard traveler, they want to come to Africa. They're going to go to Cape Town. They're going to go over Joel in Cape Town. They're going to tour the wine farms. They're going to go to game farm there in the Karoo. And they're going to shoot back.
I don't know. I think, most travelers, and I'm speculating, I don't know this for a fact, but I mean, the guys are going to come down. Look, South Africa's a long way away from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So when you're going to come here, you're going to try and tick as many boxes as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Cape Town might be a niche part of your tour, same way as we would go to Europe just to go skiing.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people try and pack as much as they can into a period of 2 weeks where they go to Cape Town, then up to the Kruger, maybe up to Botswana or Namibia or whatever, or even to Mozambique. And I think a lot of them do try and pack a lot in.
I hear you.
But and they can afford to, because when you take the exchange rate, it's doable.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So
There's a lot to see in our wonderful country.
there is. Why not?
If I had to offer advice to someone that was coming here and wanting to travel South Africa, and they wanted to do it the easy way, I would probably encourage the Cape Town sort of
No, of course.
portion of the travel.
Yeah.
But there are some awesome things to see this side of the country as well. Staying with America, negative COVID tests, if you want to go that direction, out, eh?
Yeah.
No.
What a
Don't have
pleasure.
to have your nose raped anymore. You had yours done the other day.
I had mine done last week, and I must say,
It's pretty vuss.
I was actually, I don't know, I must have just been purely lucky, because it was the first time ever since all this shit started that I went and had a COVID test done. And I said to the woman when she was doing it, I said, listen, just please do me a favor, be kind.
Yeah.
And she was actually pretty gentle.
Serious?
I hardly felt it. So what's all the rage about?
No shit.
I was lucky.
You were
I was
lucky.
very lucky.
You were lucky. Because you were lucky. But if you
Yeah.
are going to go to the US now, it's not a requirement. You don't need
Yeah.
a negative COVID test. And as small as it is, it's a big thing, because it encourages the rest of the world to get on board and stop being such morons and just...
In fact, it's yet to be confirmed, but I think South Africa's on the cusp of ditching the whole mask thing as well altogether.
Oh, well, that'll be the best.
So I think we're just about there.
That is just because it's bullshit. It's just such a load of rubbish.
horse nuts, man.
Yeah. But
Yeah, so I think we're just about there. I think it's yet to be confirmed, but government are meeting this week. Gonna chuck it.
good news.
Yeah.
Good news. Hope that happens. Nigeria, they're holding $450 million worth of payments due to foreign airlines. Have you seen that story?
Insane.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Bit of a cash flow crisis on that side of the world, so they're holding on to the cash, but it's a big thing. They're holding on to that money owed to the airlines. They're not paying it across. 450 bar in USD. It's a decent amount of money.
It's proper retirement, that.
It is. Other African states holding, it's almost as much as SA, Captain Eastern. Other African states holding funds from Zim, 100 million, Algeria, 96 million, and Eritrea, 79 million. Ethiopia as well, 75 million US dollars. So, yeah, Africa very much in the spotlight. There was a big IATA, there is a big IATA meeting going on. I believe it's in Doha at the moment. So a lot of this has been spoken about. Africa, please give us our money.
Yeah.
Type of story.
Who owes you?
Yeah, who owes you? Yeah.
Oh, shucks.
Move to international.
Yes.
Okay. So chaos overseas. 800 flights, they were cancelled the other day in the States. 3,000 of them were delayed. And the excuse? Weather.
We all know that's not the case.
Not pilots, not cabin crew, ground staff, weather.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the weather.
It's not the weather.
It's not the weather.
No way is the weather.
Shortage of crew, shortage of planes, or shortage of people to fly those planes and operate those planes and pack the bags in those planes.
I'm
a bit over the pictures of the hero captain packing the bags in the cargo hold, though.
yeah, like
Whatever.
what else would he be doing? He's sitting his fat ass in the cockpit drinking coffee, reading a newspaper.
Yeah, it's the least he can do. He's got a job.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, come on.
That's what I was gonna say.
Pack the cargo hold, bro.
I had to comment on this because I still don't understand how there can be this shortage. Okay, look, this recovery has sort of happened and it's come about a lot quicker than we all thought.
No, it hasn't. It's happened exactly the way we thought. We spoke about it on the show. But it's just we speak about it in a way that it was like it's happened fast. Has it? When did this all start?
I don't know.
Beginning of 2020, Ryan. It's mid 2022. And we're still banging on about, no, because of the way that everyone panicked. Now we're in the situation. Of course we're in the situation. But everyone panicked and, furloughed the crew. And what did they think was going to happen?
The initial speculation was that the recovery would only happen in 2023, 2024. So, but that's why I'm still struggling with that. I mean, so we get criticized.
What data were they using for the recovery?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's the same as us. We're pulling figures out of our arse most of the time.
But without figures, you can make a comment on it. You can say, well, we're 222, 223, 220. Come on, man. People want to travel.
Yeah.
They're hurtful with it. They want to go overseas. They want to go see their families.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, why are we still now seeing all these crew shortages? Because 6 months ago, you should have seen, listen, guys, we're going to get busy. The summer months are coming up for the Northern Hemisphere countries. Because this pilot shortage thing has been doing the rounds for a while now. Why are we seeing this become such a big thing now?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've had a bit of heat and some criticism from a lot of guys that listen to us often. They said, listen, you guys are positive, you're upbeat, and you're talking about this recovery, and guys are getting jobs, this, that, and the next thing. But there's still a lot of us out there that don't have jobs, and there's very few offers on the line. But now you see this. So it's kind of like contradictory. Like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah, but Ron, I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
The job shortage, the pilot shortage is not a... Okay, it's a bit political in the States. They've got to be a bit careful about how they do it, because a lot of it was to do with the treatment of the pilots in the first place, and there's the 1,500-hour rule and all sorts of things that's not applicable in Europe.
I get it.
There's a lot going on there, and depending on who's reporting on the story, you have to... Are you telling me there's no jobs in South Africa at the moment?
There are jobs in South Africa.
There are jobs in South Africa.
There are jobs actually all over the world. I mean, Wizz Air, for instance, Wizz Air crew are getting quite vocal in media there, where they're saying, listen, they're citing their concerns of being overworked and underpaid, and they have to wonder,
sounds like a pilot.
Yeah, it's typical freaking whinging. The guys are saying, that their working conditions are unsafe because they're flying so hard, yada yada, and they're getting paid less. And I read that and I still thought, it's fine. It's typical of Wizz Air, because people have been whinging about Wizz Air for a long time, particularly everybody that works there. But why isn't there something being done about it? If the airlines are so short, then employ crew. I mean, is it that they can't get them trained up fast enough? Is it that they don't want to employ people, spend the money? What's going on?
There's lots of excuses, and I think that almost takes up an entire show. It's something that'll have to be spoken about in an entire show.
Yeah.
But here in South Africa, there are Safair's employing. They're taking people, whether they're the Comair guys going. At least when Comair closed, there was this sort of exodus towards FlySafair and the guys that wanted to go overseas. There were opportunities overseas. So it's a lot better than it was at the beginning of 2020. Long may that continue.
Safair are taking, Airlink are employing or interviewing at least
a
rapid rate. I mean, we know a lot of guys are going for Airlink interviews at the moment. I know Semi are looking. And no doubt with the other airlines that are planning expansion, there's going to be room for guys to move in the industry. So 100%.
But the movement locally is better than it's been for a long time. So
Yeah.
long may
Yeah.
that continue.
Absolutely.
We talk about the bit of chaos there in the States, chaos in the UK as well. Heathrow, they had a bit of a baggage claim. Oh, not a baggage claim, but a Terminal 2 technical malfunction.
Full of bags.
Full of bags.
How crazy was that?
Yeah. I laughed because there was this guy on Sky News. It was sort of live. And he was really, giving it he had been waiting for 3 hours and his bag still hasn't come out.
Do you want to see why?
You want to see why, but it's not that bad. Just give it another hour. But the UK not through this whole pandemic sort of clean. I mean, EasyJet, they've had to consolidate flights as well. Cut certain flights that don't have these cancellations. The cancellations is what's hurting these airlines.
Yeah.
So, something to watch.
You and I tend to default a lot to the pilot side of things. Well, I know I certainly
We do
because that's
we do.
my focus.
It's a bit of a negative that we
do.
do.
That's our thing because obviously we always forget that the for every one pilot in the airplane, there's probably about 10 support staff that's needed on the ground, and that's where the problem's coming. Is the baggage handlers?
Yeah, it's not actually the
ramp
pilots.
agents, it's not the pilots so much.
Yeah,
Come to think of it, the pilots are the biggest whingers.
yeah, no doubt about that.
But
you're right. It's the baggage staff and on all the rest.
But still, I mean, why? Because you don't have to be as qualified to be a baggage handler as you do to be a pilot. So why are they so short of staff?
Because they figured out during the pandemic when they got kicked out that there are other opportunities out there that are easier than picking up a 25-kilo bag in the freezing cold and the rain.
So you're saying that there's more baggage handlers that have started podcasts and
Probably. No, but genuine. I mean, a lot of those people were in those roles because they were in those roles. They went and found something else. And unless you support those people properly, they ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Same way you
Crazy.
ain't getting on a Ryanair flight. Well, you are now because they've ditched it. But
What the hell was Michael O'Leary?
yeah.
Where did that even come from?
Yeah, but what was funny though, they got this Afrikaans test, right? So I'm sure you all saw it.
Yeah.
Afrikaans test. So a South African expat, he shared on Twitter, her and her 11-year-old son, they were denied access to boarding after failing the said test by getting 3 out of 15 questions incorrect. They got 3 out of 15 incorrect. The test included questions like, what is the country's national flower? On which side of the road must you drive in South Africa? And what is the name of South Africa's biggest city? So, look.
They're pretty simple questions.
No, but they're not.
But why? Why are people getting in? Why do you have to prove that you're South African flying on Ryanair? I mean, do people have to prove that they're Irish, American?
No, what it is.
What's it all about?
Okay, well, what it's about is the South African passports are being handed out to people. There's no controls, no quality assurance on the issuance of passports. So, people all over the world are picking up illegal South African passports.
Oh, so now they're trying to prove that they're South African.
So exactly. So the UK said no. So O'Leary or Ryanair jumped up and said, let's put this test together and stop it. South African government came along and they were like vehemently against this thing, as you would expect.
Yeah.
And what was quite cool, O'Leary, he responded and he said, South African government accusations are rubbish, adding that South Africa needs to fix its problems. So I would kind of agree there, Ryan.
I would agree as well, but Ryanair has also been in the news. I think he's got a couple of problems to fix himself within his organization. And if there was going to be a question to be asked to the South Africans, it would be, what is the name of the Ryanair CEO? It's a 4-letter word that begins with a capital P. And see if they can answer that. That'll prove you South African enough.
Cats. Yeah. But look, it's something you're probably going to see more of going forward.
I just found that weird.
Visas are going to become a big thing with travel. Part of our show, Ryan, is to chat about the travel side. We've picked up quite a lot of interest from the travel sort of industry listening to us, not just the pure aviation side and travel, visas, delays with getting interviews for visas. Not easy for South Africans to travel.
No.
So this is a story that is going to go on for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep an eye on more tests done by airlines, checking that you are truly South African.
Most South Africans, you can spot them a mile away anyway. They've all got that bliksemde
Yeah,
look about them.
yeah. Wearing a Jeep shirt and they look half hungover. South African.
Shit, that reminds me of traveling through Paris.
Yeah,
You knew.
Yeah. You guys, I think South Africans are the worst. They are the worst dressed people in the world, South Africans. They're wearing like what are those old sort of tracksuit pants? Those ones that go like all bally.
Yeah.
You know, like they're with some high tech, not the new high techs, but like the high techs from the mid-90s, the macro ones, and a Jeep shirt.
Shit, that takes me back to traveling. You know, like you knew in Paris where like gate K4 was, and the Joburg,
Yeah,
the passenger queue to Joburg was down there.
Yeah.
You can see
you
the
knew.
legs.
You don't have to follow the signs.
That's funny.
Follow the Jeep shirts. Something quite cool on the training side, obviously. At Samara, we try and keep track of what's going on. Did you see the Canadian response, that investigation into that Trip 7 that rejected the takeoff the other day?
Yeah.
It was quite
Pretty
interesting.
crazy,
That,
eh? Gee
Crew
whiz.
rolling down the runway, and they saw the Embraer 190 still on the runway. They rejected the takeoff, and obviously it boils down. The controller never picked up that the 190 wasn't airborne. There's also equipment on the runway that's supposed to pick up certain things, like over 50 knots. I think it's 50 knots. That 190 sends a message to the controller to say that it's airborne.
Yeah, but that's a bit of a.
It is a bit
It's
shitty.
a bit of a bullshit assumption because you can reject takeoff up to V1. So
Yeah.
who's to say V1's at 50 knots? I still don't understand it.
Yeah, so it's like a weight on wheels, sending a message.
Oh, yeah, don't worry,
So the
he's out of
controller
here.
saw this thing. He's out of here. Cleared the Trip 7 for takeoff. They saw the aircraft. Fortunately, they aborted the takeoff. Fortunately, the weather was really good, so
Yeah.
there wasn't another Tenerife incident.
Could have been pretty
Could have
disastrous.
been way worse, because there's no TCAS and stuff like that on the ground.
No, it's all inhabited, and
Yeah.
no, that could have been like a righteous.
Quite an interesting
up
one, actually. I'll leave that in the show notes if you want to
Mm.
read that article. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's quite good.
Close call.
The Embraer, the one bit of information doesn't sort of, okay, well, whatever. I don't want to put words in the crew's mouth because they know. But they aborted the takeoff at 139 knots. Was that below V1?
Yeah, it sounds a bit fast.
Sounds a bit. It's on the fast side. So 139 knots on 6 left, they aborted the takeoff. So
Yeah.
obviously they were quite far down the runway.
Mm.
And the Trip 7 crew, they had to abort the takeoff pretty fast as well
Yeah.
because of that. But needless to say, bit of a software issue. Embraer have looked at it already. They've already modified the bit of software that sends the message to the controllers. So all ends well.
Well, just as well. I mean, that's all we want is technology and things looking after itself to see to it that there's a safe outcome.
Yep. Shifting to India, Ryan. They're looking to buy Air India, in this case, 300 jets. So, which may be Airbus's 320 family or 737 MAX models. India is a heavy Airbus territory.
Yeah.
So Boeing, the aircraft are more available, so they can take these on quicker. It's a massive expanding market in India. So the Boeing might be the in that they've been
good for
looking
Boeing.
for
Yeah, for
into
sure.
India there. But massive growth. India's market is such an interesting market to watch. Keep an eye on what's happening there.
Yeah,
300 aircraft. This is now. It's not
Yeah,
like
it's
this isn't a 20-year forecast. This is right now. So something to watch. 300 aircraft. Are
big number.
Are you interested in going to Cathay still?
No,
Not really.
not really.
Me neither. They plan on ramping up their hiring spree. So they got to fill 4,000 roles
Mm.
across various sectors in the next 2 years as the airline resumes flights to more points across its network.
I've heard a lot of that along the rumor mills locally amongst friends of mine who are still trying to get to that side of the world. And apparently, they've
Where they're trying to go, right? I mean, their subsidiaries are Hong Kong Express,
Air Hong Kong.
Air Hong Kong.
Yeah,
So that's a subsidiary of Cathay. Huh?
that's the ends. Apparently they've exhausted their resources on hiring local staff that side of the world. And so they're interested in expats now, which is cool. I mean, a lot of my
all
mates
the better.
are desperate to get that side of the world, and the opportunities and the salaries and opportunity. It's there. It's good. It's great for the guys.
Mm.
So I hope, for the sake of many friends and ex-colleagues, that those positions become available. It's not for me.
Okay. Let's go a little bit deeper into that. Those positions are going to become available. Let's face it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys had their eyes, particularly on a lot of ex-colleagues at Air Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's a very much in demand place to go and work. Are the likes of Safair and Airlink and Comair, are they going to see an exodus of people leaving?
They might.
They've had people coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, but ultimately, are those stepping stone jobs? I mean, is Safair a stepping stone job? Comair wasn't. Comair was a career airline. It was a real, you go to Comair, you work your way up in seniority, and that's that. Is Safair the same?
I think it boils down to the individual. You know what? Safair's-
Lifestyle.
Yeah, it's lifestyle.
Where do you want to be?
Where do you want to be? You know, what's good for you? What's good for your family, the kids, your wife, everything. So you might find a large portion of the guys decide, listen, they want to still get out there, seek the adventure. They're happy to do the commute in search of earning foreign currency and all that kind of stuff. And it works for them. And then you got the guys that are searching for stability.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of...
6 of 1.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that lands up for South African guys. But, yeah.
And if they do go, it obviously opens up the local market here for youngsters wanting to get into the local carriers.
So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
It is a win-win.
And there are local pilots available here to take those roles. So
Plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is cool. You would like this. It's kind of down our alley. Emirates. So they've come up with a novel idea where you can check in at home. Car comes along, picks up your bags, gives you your boarding pass. You checked in. Rock
Really?
up at the airport, bypass all that nonsense of
And straight
dealing with
to
people breathing on you and all the rest, and straight onto the aircraft.
worldwide. Doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, so it's something that's just sort of been launched now. So it's out of Dubai and Sharjah at the
Okay.
moment. And they send a check-in staff in a car to your place. You check in with them. You show them all your passport details, all the rest. They pick up your suitcases, chuck them in the car, put them on the aircraft. You don't see them again until you arrive at the other end. And you don't have to stand in lines. You don't have to deal with the riffraff at the airport there. So quite a nice idea. But what makes this cool, that's not just for first class. If you want that and you're in economy, then book it. So you
Really?
pay, obviously, for it, but it's an option.
It's available to
It's
everyone.
available. So it's a first class, like a given.
Yeah.
But if you want that, if you're sitting in eco and you want that option, then you just tick that box.
What a pleasure.
Hey?
What a pleasure.
Well, how cool is that?
It makes sense. I mean, if you're going to, if you're not in the position to leave your car at the airport and you have to hire a taxi, blah, 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 you might as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what it costs, but it's quite nice that offering is available. It's clever of Emirates to extend that to the eco passengers as well.
I think it's quite clever. It's quite a cool idea.
Yeah, very, very.
Can we shift to our story of the week?
Let's do it.
All right. So this week, I know you followed it. We've had the removal of Comair. I think there was 60% of the market share here domestically was Comair.
It's crazy.
That's out the picture. So you see Safair desperately trying to, grab some of that market share. Link, no question as well. Link's biggest issue now is the size of the aircraft, obviously. Safair put one aircraft on, there's a lot of passengers. Link put one on, there's not so many passengers. So, that's maybe further discussion. But our youngest airline, Lyft, they plan on growing. And I was very sort of interested into what they had to say this past week. Their CEO, Jonathan Ayachi, says he told MoneyWeb that the expansion plans have been on the cards for a while, but they've taken the demise of Comair as an opportunity now to time to expand. Now, Lyft have been operating very much under the radar. You haven't heard much about them, but they operate all the time. They don't cancel flights. Everyone that flies with them is very happy.
Yeah.
Everyone that's been on them. I haven't heard one negative thing. A good coffee on the aircraft. The aircraft are nice. The guys are well trained. It's a proper operation. I mean, Lyft is a proper operation. This is not a Velvet Sky. This is a proper operation, and they've been going for a while. And they made a few very, very interesting statements this past week. Obviously, people have heard the news about maybe Mango's coming back into the market. Mango getting some bucks. Maybe they're coming back in. SAA are talking about they wanted to go to Zanzibar and all the rest. They realize they can't because they don't have the aircraft or whatever
expertise.
Yep. But the fact of the matter is there's opportunity for expansion and growth amongst our local carriers. Lyft have come up now and said, well, they're going to use this opportunity now to stick a fork in the ground and really go for it. So I'm behind them, Ryan. I'm very pro these guys. They're well run. They're well operated. They I don't know. There's not many negative things I can report about them. And doing a bit of research this week, I haven't flown on them yet. A mate of mine flies for them. He says, have you flown with us yet? I said, no, I am going to, but I haven't. But it's quite clear that they provide a really good product, and they're going to use this opportunity for a bit of expansion. They also made comments that they're not a low-cost carrier.
Yeah.
Comair goes out the business, the BA brand out the business locally. Who are you going to, if you don't want to fly low-cost, who are you going to fly with?
Well, that's what I found
A lot of people are not going to fly with SAA. They don't want to fly with SAA.
We've just lost two low-cost carriers in recent months, Mango and Comair. And funny enough, I always was under the impression that Lyft was low cost.
Yeah, and they're quite clear that they're not.
Yeah, they've come out the gates now saying, no ways are we low cost.
Yeah.
We offer a premium service. So I found that very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's great. Look, whatever. I mean, I don't think low cost offers all that many benefits. I mean, the only low cost carrier right now is probably FlySafair to a degree.
Yeah.
But it would be stupid of Lyft not to take heed of the opportunity now that's available to them and the gap in the market to put their stamp in it and expand while they've got a foot in the door. So hey, all the best, man. I'm excited to see what comes from Lyft and what aircraft they're going to bring into the market, how many, what routes they're going to jump onto, and it's cool, man. It's lekker. It's nice to see.
I'm very pro these guys. They've got the best website.
Yeah.
Lyft's website for booking, and it's the best.
Usable, intuitive.
It's basic. It's a real, you can tell, I mean, Ayachi's got the background to, it's the right sort of website, easy. And, but what's interesting now, obviously, so despite having a common shareholder in the Takatsa consortium, so obviously that's the preferred bidder for South African Airways, Yachi says Lyft will not be replacing the grounded Mango as a SAA's low-cost carrier. That was always the idea, certainly for me. Lyft will simply take the place of Mango. So let's put our opinion hats on here, Ryan. This isn't in the news. This is what we picked up. This is our opinions. We're commentating on what's going on. Mango this week comes in that there might be some sort of money coming into the airline, and they might be operating soon. Cool. All right. Two schools of thought here. Taxpayer, not so happy. Mango, let's be honest, from making us all money and, making the taxpayer money, nah, not really, hey? but a lot of unemployed pilots out there. Maybe another airline to go and fly for. So those are the two schools of thought. You can't diss it from the one side. So there was a comment on Fly Africa the other day, and I think Duncan jumped on it to say, what the hell's going on here? I mean, how on earth can this happen? South African taxpayers had enough. It's had enough of this nonsense, paying for these airlines. We don't need a Mango. Why are they coming back? And what is there to come back? Where are the aircraft? Have they not gone back to the owners and the pilots? Where are they? They're all at Fly Dubai. They're not here anymore.
Yeah.
So what are you investing money in? Where's the money coming from, and why are you investing it in a sort of a dead horse? So that's a very viable comment and an option. People then comment, now go and have a look on Mango's website, all the financials are there. Wind your neck in. They never made any bloody money.
No.
So if they did, they would still be operating. So let's call that quits there and then. That's a load of bullshit. However, if my mate's got an opportunity to go and fly for Mango, I'd also be pretty chuffed because,
Yeah, look, I'd be pro of the guys. Obviously, I mean, we are, happy for anyone that can find a flying job anywhere really right now, because that's what we're about. We're promoting the guys, stay positive, get themselves flying again, and just doing stuff. But I would also, coming from me, be cautious. I think that's all just a smoke screen. There's no chance. In fact, you probably got more chance of SA Express starting up again than seeing Mango up in the sky. But not that that'll ever happen. But
okay,
bullshit.
But going back to the opinion hats here at the beginning, obviously it's our story of the week here. Does this mean, because I actually made a comment here, Lyft has every intention to compete with SAA. So does that mean there's been like a bit of a break of friendship here? Because they were obviously very tight. It's a consortium. They're all involved. Anyone with half a brain cell will think that, well, Lyft are simply going to take the role of what Mango were playing. SAA will carry on as per normal. Lyft will provide the low cost, which we now know is not a low cost arm.
Yes.
The fact that Lyft come out and say we're not a low cost carrier, is that not them saying we are not in any way tied to SAA at all? That's how I read it. It's almost like something's happened that they know about that hasn't made the news yet, and they are going to carry on in their own direction, grow and expand, and they're going to do that with Global's expertise. Awesome, because we know that they've got the expertise. They're going to grow. They're going to expand. And I think, hasn't made the news, but there's something that's gone on there, and we don't know who's this investor in Mango. Is it the Taxi Association again?
Yeah, who knows?
And why would you want to keep quiet about who the investor is? Why? I don't understand that. Why? Where the secrecy about the investor?
Smoke and mirrors and the usual bureaucracy.
So you're saying it's not going to happen?
No, I'm saying it's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on all of it.
You're calling bullshit?
100%.
Okay. All right. We'll watch it.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. But I'm very pro Lyft. I like 100%. The 320s. I like Global. I like the operation. Been around for a long time. I like the way that CEO talks. He's tech. He's new. He knows what he's doing. And he's going to destroy anyone that comes in his path in terms of marketing and all the. I don't know, Ryan. Wouldn't want to be competing with those guys at the moment. They've been like a bit of a sleeping dragon.
Yeah, look. Don't get me wrong. I'm not denying. I'm pro Lyft as well. What I'm saying is the guys that are SAA is going to be a viable competitor, and Mango's coming back. Yada.
I just feel that they look at this like they've picked up more information than what we've got, and that's why they're basing this on that. So
let's
keep an eye on that story.
I think
that's our main story for the week. keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Time for an advisory.
Been looking forward to it all week, man.
You are a little bit like me, I think. You like your sitting on your computer at night watching YouTube. Pick up a lot on YouTube.
I spend a lot of time on YouTube. More time on YouTube than I do on Netflix, I think.
I spend a lot of time on YouTube. I spend more time on my desktop on YouTube than I do on my phone.
Yeah. I've got YouTube on my TV,
Mhm.
so
You watch it there as well.
yeah. It's YouTube's everywhere, man.
Okay. Something that might encourage you to use your desktop version more. All right. You start a video. You want to skip to halfway through the video. You press 5 on your keypad.
Yeah.
It shifts to 50% into the video.
No ways.
Yeah. You want to start a video. You want to skip the adverts and the nonsense at the beginning. Press 1. 10% gone.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Just like that.
No way.
Yeah. You don't have to scroll across.
Whether you're a subscriber or not.
No.
Just any ordinary YouTube video.
If you're watching a
Push on a-
YouTube video, the video is playing and this is boring. Yeah, this bit's boring. I don't want this. Let's go to 30. I want to go 30% in. Press 3. 30%.
No way.
Yeah.
I never knew
Legit.
that.
Yeah.
That's proper.
I've known that for a long time. And then
Serious?
the other day I realized that not many people know that.
I never. This is the
Yeah.
first time I hear about
So
it.
that's how I skip forward. I've done that for
Serious?
ages. Then I realized, well, not many people know that.
Holy shit.
So pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so what's interesting with that, now that you know that, you're going to find how often you start a video and then just press 1.
Yes.
Because you just
Get through that usual riffraff.
Yeah.
And yeah.
One of our things now on the show, Ryan and I are quite pro looking at analytics. So analytics are a big thing. And watching us live, there's a big drop off at the beginning of the show.
Mm.
A lot of people almost like, okay, well, what's this about? And they get rid of that part. And it's not just our show that drops off in the first
All of them.
10. That's all of them.
Mm.
And the reason is because that number 1, you press number 1, it shifts forward that 10%.
That is fascinating, man.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know.
It works. Try it tonight. It works. It's legit.
I'm going to.
It happens.
Jesus.
And it's something that you can use. You can be a bit productive with it,
Yeah.
but worth a try.
That is really cool.
So it's an easy advisory, but that's my advisory this week.
That's very cool. Because I mean, like, one of the frustrations is if you're watching it on the TV or whatever, and you got that fast forward button, but that
Oh no, it's a
doesn't
pain.
always work so lacquer. And
No, it's a pain.
yeah,
So keypad 1 through 10,
That's
and
cool.
very, very cool. So
Thanks.
that's my Bryan Air Advisory
great advisory. Thanks for that. I'm definitely going to use it.
this week. Special mentions, Ryan. Fly Africa, they've reached 16,000 members. I saw Duncan posted something the other day. That's
incredible.
an amazing group. Eh?
Yeah, that's big.
So that's for people that have some sort of link to aviation. I
Mhm.
believe they turned down more people than they actually let in.
Yeah.
So they're a cool group. I dig it.
There's lots of interesting articles, opinions,
Yeah.
sometimes heated, sometimes pretty, factful.
Yeah.
So no, it's great.
Always factful.
Yeah.
Always fact. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Fly Africa, well
awesome,
done.
yeah.
16,000. That's a lot of members.
Duncan does a good job of,
He
of
does.
managing that very,
Yeah.
very well. Yeah.
Duncan is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, good on you. And Ron, I'm off to Aviadev next week.
You are.
Yeah.
You lucky
Gonna
bastard.
go meet John in real life.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. So I'm off to Cape Town, and I'm flying to Cape Town for the first time in my life on Airlink.
No way.
Yeah,
Seriously?
yeah. Only because I haven't been on them
Does
before.
does Roger Foster know you?
Yeah.
You know one of his airplanes. That's cool, man.
Yeah, so I'm going on Link. Eh?
That's cool, man. Shit's
I
off.
thought that gives me a little bit of content for the podcast.
Yeah.
Go on Link. I'll do a bit of a review.
Well, enjoy
I'll let
it.
people give an honest opinion of what I thought about the operation there.
Yeah. Once again, I would be lying through my teeth if I said I wasn't a little bit jealous. But yeah, obviously,
Don't worry, I'll tell you all about it on the
it's
podcast.
fine. You won the toss, selected to bat, and off you go to
Yeah.
Cape Town again. I'll stay here and look after things here in Joburg and do my daddy duties. And
Yeah.
no, it's cool, man. I'm jealous. You're gonna you get to meet John, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm going to try and give people a little bit of, obviously our network very much focused on pilots and cabin crew and that at this phase. And
Yeah.
this Aviadev's all about sort of B2B marketing. So it's business to business side. So it's different to what we would normally involve ourselves in. And I'd like to give people a bit of a perspective about what it's all about. So I will I'm definitely going to do a podcast or a video about what I see there and what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's not my natural environment.
Yeah, but I go and see what it's about, and
Yeah.
you never know. It might be
And also to try and gauge the mood of African aviation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all the business, the big dogs there, and try and see what's happening.
I have a sense you might find it might be way more valuable in terms of networking than you actually think.
I've no doubt. I've no doubt. Even leading up to this, in terms of having a look at what it's all about. John, I mean, John's a networking expert, and you can see why now.
Exactly.
This is his thing. He's a born sort of networker, and And I must take my hat off to all the guys at Aviadev as well for the setup of this. The amount of work that must actually go in behind the scenes to set things like this up. And let's face it, I mean, I'm pretty sure those business guys won't be watching to this stage of the show, so I'll say it. But, I mean, those are obviously a few prima donnas in there. And you've got to look after those guys. So, So I'm going, our sort of commercial director and marketing director from France is coming down. Yeah. And I'm going to be wearing my Sim Aero hat there. I'm not my Bryan Air hat.
Is it?
But no doubt I will be telling people about the podcast, and please to listen and tune in.
Well, listen, man. You know, the important thing is you go down there, have fun, and, do what you got to do, and drop the Bryan Air name as best you possibly can. And my best wishes to John, please.
Yes.
Buy him a beer from me.
Yes.
Because I think,
we owe him a few.
We do too.
Yeah.
And, man, send lots of pictures and videos.
So we got a couple of things. There'll be a Airlink review. There'll be an Aviadev explanation and review. Yeah. No doubt that's going to be good.
Yeah.
And there'll be the Cape Town travel review.
I think while we're talking about reviews, there's probably a whole lot more of that coming from
there's
us
a lot
in the next
more
couple
coming.
of weeks.
Well, let's talk about that now, Ron. I've got an opportunity now right at the end.
Yeah.
We're not live today. We're recording the show. We're recording it as we always do remotely. It's going to go out at the same time. So nothing really changes. The show is the show. What we've always done is spoken about the aviation news and the travel news in that week.
Yes.
Plug it together in a 45 to an hour and a half show, and it goes out weekly. That's not going to change. We're going to carry on with that. That's the game plan. That's the bread and butter. That's what we're going to do. But Ron and I, obviously, type of guys we are, and the amount of effort that we've put into the show, we want the opportunity to expand. We want to be able to do one or two more things, and maybe offer one or two sort of training sessions as well. And if we're doing that, if we're doing the live show, it's quite difficult to do a live show on Thursday and then a live show on Friday that's sort of about something else. People are going to get a little bit confused.
Yes.
So the game plan here is that this show gets recorded midweek, goes out on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the aviation and travel
Roundup.
Okay. And then through the week on the Pro subscription, on Apple Podcasts, there will be another show, and it might even be a monologue with me or Ryan. We'll go out weekly as well, a little bit of extra content that goes out there as well. But Ryan and I, we've learned a lot in the last couple of years. We've tried out new software. From a productivity point of view, going from two imbeciles to two people that I'm relatively proud of. We've got a bit to say, and to say it in this show, it doesn't really work. So the podcast will stay the same. However, we want to add a bit more to it, and we want to have the opportunity to do another show within the Bryan Air umbrella.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing it this way. Those shows, Ryan, will go out live.
Yes.
So by doing this the way we're doing it today, gives us the option of doing that live show again with a full glass of whiskey and a few ideas. So that's ultimately the plan. This show, bread and butter, weekly. You'll find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm very excited about that. The plans we formulated and, putting this all together in the next couple of weeks is going to be quite cool. I'm looking forward to it. And
it's the post-100 plan.
Keen to get to work on this, man.
Yep.
One last thing, special mention, if you don't mind. Just a special congratulations to Gavin Hill, our mate, who managed to get his RV8 off the ground this last
Hey,
weekend. Did his
well done,
maiden
Gav.
flight. Shame, it's been a massive project for him for the past 4 to 5 years. Lots of blood, sweat, and tears, and all things considered, he managed to pull it off.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, well, we never had any doubt that he would get that pulled off.
So he's got it right. It was wonderful to see the airplane fly, and massive congratulations to him and his wife for putting up with him.
Yeah.
And hopefully just there'll be more
Blue skies ahead for
Blue
Gav
skies
and
and
Mitzi.
and hours in the Erie.
It's a beautiful looking RV.
It's very cool.
Paint scheme is legit.
Just needs the avgas price to go down.
Yes. Let's not talk about avgas. Let's leave the show on a good note.
100%.
I hope you all enjoyed it today.
That was
We
fun.
certainly did.
Yeah,
Different for us, but
it was really cool.
it was really cool.
Thanks for
Val.
listening, guys. Yeah.
Next week.
See you then.
See you then. Goodbye for now.
Cheers, pal.